Y'all, so we've been talking about hardship and we've been talking about the Lord placing us in difficult, challenging situations and how he's actually using that to grow and develop us. And one of the things that the Lord was just speaking to me about is that for some, God has a task that he wants you to do. He has a destination that he needs you to get to so that you can be positioned for what he desires you to do. See, God is so good that he knows exactly what to do with you and when. See, God knows how to put the desire in your heart for big. God will put the hunger and thirst in you to chase after that big. But then he also knows how to refine that thirst so that you are driven to hydrate, to be fed, not by that thing, but by him. You see, he wants you chasing him and going after him, but he needs to make sure that it's grounded and rooted, whatever he has you do, in him, so you don't get lost in it. Yeah, see, God knows exactly how to work on you, how to mold you, how to shape you, so that you're able not just to step into what he desires you to step into, but so that you can stay in, be fruitful in, and thrive in what he's called you to. See, he knows Satan's waiting on you to corrupt all of it. He knows Satan will take that thirst, that hunger, that desire that God gave to you and use that for your destruction. So God has to position you accordingly. God has to make it so that you can get to a certain level where you're not driven by impulses. You're not driven by urges. So he has a position that he needs to get you to. But the problem is, if he told you what you needed to do, if he told you what was required of you, what was really required of you, some of y'all would back away. Some of y'all would leave God behind. Some of y'all would say, it's too much. I can't do it. If God really wanted all that he wanted for you and told you what all was required of you, some of you all would see God as the enemy because you didn't have enough maturity in him. You didn't have enough understanding. You didn't have enough revelation. You didn't have enough processing. You didn't have what was required in him so that you can take that and see that what he was doing was for you. So what he has to do is he has to piecemeal it. He has to, little by little, remove things, strip things from you. Because if he did it all at once, again, it would be jarring. So little by little, what God does is he says, okay, let me take this from you. Let me see how they respond. Let me take that from you. Let me see how they respond. And then in the removal of certain things, you're learning lessons. You're receiving the revelation and the understanding. So because you can deal with loss and change at one level, he can continue forward. So then the press is on for him to now be able to take you ultimately where you want to go, where he wants you to go. You see, there's this song that's called Yes. And it's so beautiful because what it's saying is, God is telling you there is more that is required of you. And no matter where I am, at any stage of my life, I know this is a fact. God is desiring more of me, and he's desiring more of you. So we have to look at this thing as God is leading you somewhere. He doesn't just want to remove a thing from you for the sake of removing it. It's positioning you. Some of you all are not where you're thinking you should be at. You're not in your promised land. You're not in your place where you're being blessed, is because there's still more work that needs to be done. And if God asked you to do exactly what it is that's needed for you to cross over, you wouldn't do it. You're just not ready. So the point is to be surrendered to God and be seeking God and to be in tune with God. To figure out what God is doing in this moment with you. You can't look at it from a space where you're saying, I've already given this. I've already done so much. I've already relinquished all of this on your behalf. Why do you want more? Why? When is enough never going to be enough? Ever going to be enough? And I've been there. But I'm going to tell you right now, there's more required of you. There's another step that's waiting on you. It's not a moment in time that's hard, and then you get past that, and then it's easy. It is a narrow road full of hard steps. Why are they hard? Because they are specific steps that God requires you to take so that you can get to the place that he desires you to go. It is not the steps that you can choose, that you can control, that you can coordinate, that you can do when you will, how you will. It is all of God. And that level of surrender, that loss of control when we are in our flesh, is difficult. So again, what is the answer to it? And that's surrender. God needs you positioned a certain way. And I'm not saying position just in the physical. Although he may need you positioned physically, but in order to get you there physically, he's got to get you surrendered and positioned spiritually. You get that? God may need you to make a move to the other side of the country. You are not going to be able to leave everything you have and everything you know unless you are surrendered to the Lord. So he may have to build you up little by little, because eventually that's where he wants you to be. But you're not there yet. And if he asked you to do that, you would say, God, we done. So consider the hard things that God is asking you to do are steps that the Lord is taking, having you take to position you for the blessing, so that you could receive and handle the blessing. Don't run from it. Embrace it, because it's for you. God wants to bless you. He wants to get the glory. But he tells Abraham, I'm going to make your name great. There's something in it for you as well. So make the next hard step and keep making the hard steps, because it's what God desires and it's what he requires. Talk soon.